Hey everyone, Dockwell here, and in today's video I'm going to be going over Assault Cuirass. I'm going to show you what it does, how to use it, and when to buy it. So AC costs 5,125 gold, which makes it a late game and fairly expensive item. Not the most expensive item in the game, but it is decently expensive, and you're going to be buying it later, not a very early game item. Probably a third, fourth, fifth kind of item in your inventory. Now, what does AC actually give us? Well, it's a very interesting item because it gives us 30 attack speed and 10 armor from having it in our inventory. So already you can see this is probably more of a core kind of carry right clicker type of item because of that attack speed. But then you also get this passive. These things are very good to have for yourself, but the passive aura is very, very good. So even though it is an offensive kind of carry right click centric item, it's also sort of a team-based aura item because this passive assault aura grants 30 attack speed and 5 armor to nearby allied units and structures, but then it also decreases nearby enemy unit and structure armor by 5. So it's one of these weird items. There's not a lot of other items in the game that are both defensive and offensive in this way that benefit right clickers but are also kind of team oriented. It's a very dynamic item in that sense. And so the main way that we can think about AC is as the best armor item in the entire game, both offensively and defensively. If we just take one of those aspects, let's say defensively for armor and tankiness, sure, something like Shiva's or something like Crimson Guard or even Heart with no armor and just raw HP might technically make you a little bit tankier, but because AC also has that offensive capability and the team aura capability, that makes it more dynamic. It's both offensive and defensive. And then for the offensive potential, let's say something like Deso. This is great for yourself for doing a ton of right click damage, but if you look there, it says your attacks reduce the enemy's armor by 6. That's only one more than AC, and AC is an aura that applies to everyone in that AoE no matter what happens. So it's not like you just have to right-click them like with Deso. You actually have to apply that debuff. This debuff is automatically happening, and you're making yourself and your teammates tankier. So you can see that AC is super valuable as an armor item, just the best armor item both defensively and offensively in the entire game. And to show you how AC works, I picked Wraith King here, and I'll explain why Wraith King is a great AC buyer in a minute. But to show you how this works, it's really straightforward because it's a completely passive item. You don't have to do anything. You just buy it, and it sits in your inventory. So I'll kind of just show you the effect of it here with the Axe and the Wraith King attacking each other. And then I'll give the Wraith King this AC, and we can see he attacks way faster. He's taking almost no damage, and the Axe is taking way, way more damage. And then if we just highlight here over the AC, we can see that AoE is pretty big. So like I said, compared to Deso, where you actually have to click the enemy to apply that debuff, this is great. You just walk into the team fight, and now every enemy has minus armor, and now every ally has more armor. So this is a great offensive and defensive item with a great AoE that's pretty huge and applies to pretty much everyone in the fight unless it's super spread out. Now, what type of heroes like to buy AC? Well, first of all, like I said, it gives attack speed, so any right-click hero is going to be in consideration for buying AC because you want to be able to right-click a bunch, you want that attack speed. Any kind of spell-casting hero that doesn't like to right-click heroes is not going to be buying AC pretty much ever. And then obviously the other big consideration is which heroes like to buy armor. Well, strength heroes love buying armor because they have a lot of HP from their natural strength gain, but they usually don't have a lot of agility gain that gives them that armor that they need to be tankier. So a lot of strength heroes love that armor just for themselves, but then also in the aura because that big aura for their whole team, if you are a tanky strength hero that loves to go in, you're probably going to be survivable. So something like Wraith King, something like Lifestealer, these heroes both right click, but are also very survivable. So these are the perfect kinds of heroes that want to buy AC because they're carry heroes or semi-carry heroes. Like Wraith King can still play offlane, but it's great for buffing up their team, kind of staying in the fight. You know, you have 2 lives on Wraith King, you have kind of an extra life in some way on Lifestealer with the ultimate, but you also have your Rage, which is basically a BKB. You're just really hard to bring down, so that aura is going to be in the fights for a long time, and you love right-clicking. So that's the perfect kind of hero that likes to buy AC. Where compared to other heroes, like agility heroes, they already have a lot of armor. They buy a lot of agility items. They get a lot of agility gain, so it's not something they necessarily need. It doesn't benefit them as much, even though they would like it for the damage and attack speed. Intelligence heroes, they don't really right-click all that often. Some could buy it, but it's not the most popular item for them. And then universal heroes, they just really like to buy stats overall because it just benefits them the most to have stat-heavy items. And that's really one of the big weaknesses of AC. It's really the only weakness that this item has is it gives you no stats in terms of strength, agility, or intelligence. So universal heroes don't really like to buy that because they just want raw stats. But obviously that's just a shortcut because something like Earthshaker can play core, can right-click some, but doesn't really buy AC, doesn't need that attack speed all that much, doesn't want that kind of aura, where something like a Viper or a Shadow Fiend, yes, they're agility heroes, heroes, but they can buy AC, can be very good on them. And then Queen of Pain, an intelligence hero that can be sort of a right clicker at times, so you can totally buy AC in certain situations. Or something like Nature's Prophet, also a universal hero that likes to right click, likes to buy stats, but can benefit from the attack speed and the minus armor of AC in a lot of different situations as well. So it's not a one-to-one every time that strength heroes are the ones that like to buy AC, but they are some of the most popular ones just because of the way the item works. And then lastly, how and when do we build this item? Well, it's made from plate mail, which gives you armor, Hyperstone, which gives you attack speed, and then Buckler, which is another kind of AoE armor item. So that's actually made from Ring of Protection and a recipe, and then you finish it out with a recipe, a 1300 gold recipe, which is fairly expensive overall. And unlike a lot of other items, you're probably not buying the Buckler or the Ring of Protection first. A lot of other items, when you build up to them, you kind of want to buy the cheaper one first just to have it in your inventory for that buff. But because this is a carry-centric item, usually you have other slots that are already filled up because it is a late game item, a third, fourth item, that you're not usually going to be buying the Buckler first. Maybe if you think you're going to be going for this eventually, it's part of your build, you could have Ring of Protection early on in your inventory, maybe even put it in your backpack so that eventually you will build into the Buckler and into the AC later. But usually you're going to be saving up for plate mail as your first purchase, just because that 10 armor passively for 1400 gold is really, really good when you know that you're going to be building into AC fully. Or if you feel like you don't need any kind of tankiness and you're just snowballing out of control, you're never going to die, you can just go for the Hyperstone first, which gives you ridiculous attack speed for pushing towers and killing people in general. So usually you're going to be buying plate mail or Hyperstone first, then buying the other one that you didn't buy, and then finishing it out with the Buckler and the recipe. And so, like I said, we're probably buying this third, fourth, fifth item later on in the game after 25-30 minutes, because it can be awkward to save up that 1400 gold for plate mail, that 2000 gold for Hyperstone, and that 1300 gold for the recipe early on in the game. Plus, like I said before, the main weakness of AC is that it doesn't really give you any stats. So sure, it kind of buffs up your farming capabilities to some extent with attack speed and minus armor, but it is very expensive, and usually early on in the game you want to buy some kind of farming item, you usually want to buy some kind of HP regen, mana regen, then some tankiness, maybe like a BKB, and then you can round it out later with the AC just to make everything you're doing a little bit better, make you more tanky, more attack speed, do more damage to enemies, buff up your team in team fights, and push high ground. Because that really is one of the main reasons that you buy this item, is to push towers faster. And so in that sense, you can think of Deso kind of as AC's cousin or brother. They do a lot of the same types of things. It's just that AC is more expensive and more of a team oriented item. And so in that way, a lot of heroes that like to buy Deso also like to buy AC, and vice versa, like a Wraith King, like a Lifestealer. They can go for Deso and then go into AC later. They can actually combine both of those items. There are some heroes, like let's say PA, that likes to buy Deso early but doesn't really buy AC ever. So it's not a one-to-one, but for the most part, they do a lot of similar things and allow you to push high ground extremely, extremely quickly and do a ton of damage with a lot of minus armor. The main difference between the two is that Deso is more of an early game item, a tempo item that you buy first, second, third, because you want to get those stacks up for extra damage. It's also very selfish. It's a cheaper item, where AC is more of an item that's late game to round out what you're already doing, make your team fighting even more, survivable, and also do more damage and just push high ground in general or defend high ground overall. So if you had to pick one, obviously, as being the more expensive item, AC is a better item overall. It's just the fact that you can combine both of them to amp up even more damage, and this is more of an early game tempo item. But a lot of times, if you're a hero like Wraith King or Lifestealer or one of these heroes that wants that minus armor, and you already bought something like a Radiance, or maybe Radiance and BKB, it's already 20, 25, 30 minutes, you usually don't want to go back for a Deso, and you're just going to buy AC instead. So that's how you can kind of think of these two items and when to buy that. Early Deso, that's a little bit better. Later game, probably AC. It's going to be better overall. More expensive item just benefits yourself and your team because of that aura and pushing high ground together. And that, everyone, is AC. I hope this helped you better understand the item and when to buy it. As always, guys, if you like the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.